shoes and dance the blues. Let's dance to the song they're playing on the radio. Let's sway while color lights up your face. Let's sway, sway through the crowd to an empty space. And if you say run, I'll run with you. And if you say hide, we'll hide. Because my love for you would break my heart in two. If we should fall into my arms and tremble like a flower. Let's dance. Let's dance. Feel your grace fall. Let's dance. For fear tonight is all. Let's sway. You could look into my eyes. Let's sway under the moonlight, the serious moonlight. And if you say run, I'll run with you. And if you say hide, we'll hide. Because my love for you would break my heart in two. If you should fall into my arms and tremble like a flower. Let's dance. Let's dance. Put on your red shoes and dance the blues. Let's swing under the moonlight, the serious moonlight. Let's dance. Let's dance, let's dance, let's dance, let's dance, let's dance.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Sunday night edition of the Wise Up Show. And for those of you that don't know me and are joining me for the first time, I'm your show host, Ralph Mucci. Happy Father's Day to all the dads out there. I hope you had a great day today. It was a beautiful day here today in northern New Jersey. The weather was absolutely spectacular. And here in northern New Jersey, we have a great week ahead of us. Possibly a heat wave. It's going to be 90 degrees and above every single day and sunny. So we'll probably have our first heat wave this week, and actually summer officially starts this week. So hello to everybody. Emmanuel, Chromo, Demi's here. Who else is here? And a couple of people in the background. Come on in and join me. Come into the chat. Don't be shy. Come on in. Anyway, Father's Day, proud to be a dad. Children are great. But I'll tell you one thing, though. The kids today are so much different than in my time. Now, I'm not saying all kids are like this, but a lot of them are like this. They expect things handed to them. You know, they take things for granted. Whereas in my time, and I'm going back to the 60s, back in the day when things was simple. We didn't have the technology that we had today. We had only 7 channels on TV. You know, the kids, you know, they asked their parents, you know, for $25, $50. In my day, we got nothing. We got nothing. If you wanted money as a kid, you had to be creative. You had to go out and earn money. So what did we do back then when times were simple? Well, I'll tell you what I did. I used to stand outside a ShopRite back in the 60s, which was really my first job. And I'd wait for the ladies to come out with the cart and help them. And I asked them if they needed any help carrying their bags to the car. And I'd take the cart from them if they said yes. And I took the bags out and I put them in their car. And I got a nickel or a dime and sometimes a quarter and sometimes $1. Do you know how big $1 was back then? With a nickel, you could buy a nickel candy bar. 10 cents, you could buy 2 candy bars. With a quarter, you could buy 25 bazookas or anything that was a penny candy. Or 5 candy bars. With $1, which was kind of rare, forget about it. But by the end of the day, if you stood outside like 10 o'clock in the morning to like 5 o'clock in the afternoon, you made yourself a couple of dollars. And that was a lot of money back then. So we as kids back then were hustlers. Nobody handed us anything. You know, times were very rough back then in the 60s. You know, our parents did not, you know, you couldn't go to your parents and say, hey, Mom, Dad, can you give me $5? $5 was a lot of money back then. So you had to go out and you had to, you know, you had to make money. You had to make money. I just want to wish everybody that's in the chat, you guys that have children, happy Father's Day to you. I hope you enjoyed your day today. I already said that, but I'll say it again. But you had to go out and you had to make money. The other thing was, you know, back then, if you remember, if you're old enough to remember, Coke used to come in a glass bottle, in a small glass bottle about this big. Now, that was 2 cents when you brought it back to the grocery store. And then they made a bottle about this big, which they don't make anymore, and that was a nickel, you know, deposit that you would get back. And the glass milk jugs, the gallon milk jugs, they were a quarter. So what we used to do is on garbage day, for the people that didn't want to be bothered and take their soda bottles back to ShopRite or Pathmark or Pantry Pride or wherever, they would throw them out, and we would go around the neighborhood on garbage day and collect the bottles and bring them to ShopRite or wherever and get money for them. So that was another way that we made money. So any way that we could, a kid back then could make money, we did, you know, whatever it was. Some of us went out as shoe shine boys. You know, we did what we had to do. But the kids of today, and I don't say all of them are like that, but some of them are. You know, they're a different breed today. They're a different breed. They expect everything. You know, they expect everything. And their parents give it to them. And I'm not saying all parents, and some of the parents spoil them, you know. So you give me the old days, you know, when we had, what did I say, 7 channels on TV when life was simple. You know, we had no cable. You know, and then when the TV shows went off, they went off at 12 o'clock at night. You know, the national anthem would play, and then there would be snow. And that was it. You had no programming until 6 o'clock in the morning. You know, no computers, no cell phones. You know, we went outside, and in the summertime when we were off for school, we used our imaginations. The kids today don't do that. They sit in front of the TV and play video games. That's what they do. Let me just hold on a second, guys. Wait a minute. Oh, Benny's here. I'm sorry, Benny. I didn't recognize you. How are you, buddy? You're awfully quiet. Good to see you. Yes, Benny, $1 went a long way. $1 was, oh my God, it was a lot of money back then. You know, I mean, Jesus. As a kid, you know, if you had $1, you could buy 100 pieces of Tootsie Rolls, because there was a lot of penny candy back then. You know, Tootsie Rolls a penny, Bazooka was a penny. there's a lot of penny candies. So you could buy 100 bazookas, 100 Tootsie Rolls, or you could buy, as a kid, you could buy 5, 10, 15, 20 candy bars, because each candy bar was a nickel. And they were big. The candy bars were big. So if you had $1, you were rich. I mean, like I said, helping women to the car at ShopRite, if they gave you $1, which is very rare, but you did get it once in a while, it was like, oh my God, I'm rich, And then where I was working as a kid, I think I was maybe 11 years old, right across the street directly from ShopRite, there was a store called Chicken Delight, which is like our Kentucky Fried Chicken today. And in there, their motto was, don't cook tonight, called Chicken Delight. Some of you may remember that. And a bag of French fries was 30 cents. So, I would go across the street and get a bag of French fries, and it would be a big bag about this big for 30 cents, if I had $1. And I still would have 70 cents left over. So that was a lot of money. But the bag of French fries, with ketchup on the side, was filling, $100 today, Benny, is nothing. I went into the ShopRite yesterday, and I'm a single guy. I spent $300. I don't know why. I'm a single guy. I spent $300. Every week when I go to ShopRite, the products that I buy, because I buy the same products once a month, they go up in price all the time. Everything is going up. I hate 2024. I really do. This world is so messed up, and I know you'll agree with me. It is so messed up. I mean, everything is so complicated. There's a lot of problems. We have a lot of issues. We didn't have that back then. Life was simple. Life was simple. Back then, like I said, it's in the summertime when we got out of school, we would go out like 9 o'clock in the morning, 8:30 in the morning, 9 o'clock in the morning. We'd go out and stay outside all day in the summer with no communication with our parents, because we had no cell phones back then. If we wanted to make a phone call, we'd have to go over to somebody's house and call our parents. But we had no communication with our parents at all, because back then, you didn't have to worry about getting kidnapped or getting shot or getting stabbed. The kids back then didn't carry guns. Maybe a few of them carried knives, switchblade, but that was about it, really. But you had to be older. So, I mean, our parents did not worry. A lot of our parents, some of our parents, the moms stayed home and took care of the house, and then the dads went to work. But if two parents worked, they didn't worry about the kids because it was a safe environment. Things were a lot different back then. There was no kidnappings or things like that. So as myself, as an 11-year-old, I would roam the avenue all day long. And nobody ever bothered me. And then I would have to make sure I went home for dinner at 5 o'clock. You had to make sure you went home for dinner. So times are a lot different. And we had respect. Respect for our parents, respect for our elders. These kids, and again, I don't want to stereotype, some of these kids, the way they talk to their parents, if I ever talked to my parents like that, I'd have my head handed to me. I wouldn't be sitting here right now doing the show. That's for sure. Because we had respect. We were afraid of our parents. We respected the law, let alone answer a cop back or tell a cop to go, We didn't curse at cops like these kids do today. No way. No way. Teresa Murphy, how are you, hon? How's everything? Ryan, Charlie, your husband. Teresa, you crack me up. Teresa has the most beautiful hair. She really does. But, it's disgusting. It's really disgusting. I remember I used to go to the supermarket with my mom when she used to go shopping. And I remember the grocery bill being $30 for a family of 4. Can you imagine that? $30 for a family of 4, feeding the whole family for a week. $30. I think my father at that time, he was making like $60 a week, and rent, I'm going back to the 60s now, rent was $120. My grandmother owned the house, of course, she gave my mother and father a break, but they used to pay like $120 a month, right? That's 2 weeks' salary, right? $60 each week, right? And then the rest, whatever the bills were. But $30 for feeding a family of 4 back in the 60s. But then back then too, the parents, like my mother and the moms back then, they made economical dishes. They tried to come up with ideas to make these very economical and cheap dishes, like pasta fazool, fried bologna with scrambled eggs and hot peppers. All these economical dishes that our parents back then made, which of course I still carry with me today, and I still make some of them. Emmanuel is asking me if I feel that people have no morals today. Well, some people do and some people don't. Some people just don't care. That's what I have to say about that. And it's a shame for the people that don't care. Me, myself, I try to be nice every day. I have the kind of personality where I talk to people that I don't even know, and I talk to them like I know them for years. I say hi to everybody. I say good morning. I hold the door open for ladies. It doesn't cost anything to be nice. And to be honest with you, lately I've been getting a lot of smiles. A lot of smiles from people. Just by being nice. It doesn't cost anything to be nice. But as far as the morals, some do and some don't. It's like anything else, I hope you guys have morals. I have morals, and I try to be respectful. But like I said, I have a very outgoing personality, off of YouTube, and believe it or not, I used to be shy at one time, very shy. I didn't talk at all. But now I have not very outgoing personality, and it's just part of me now. So it's nothing for me to walk up to a stranger and hold a conversation with them that I don't even know them. But you have to watch though. You have to watch what you say, because sometimes it can get you in trouble if you say the wrong thing. So you have to be very, very careful. But that's me. That's me. I'm reading. I just quickly want to read something here. Hi, William Brooklyn. How are you, buddy? Good to see you. Emmanuel, good point. Getting arrested at 25 is different than at 50. Yeah. The older you get, you don't want to get arrested. You don't want to get arrested. I certainly don't want to get arrested at my age. I'm too old for that. So don't do anything wrong. Don't do anything wrong. Don't break the law, and you won't get arrested, right? Who the hell wants to get arrested in their 50s or in their 60s or in their 70s, right? You want to sit in a jail cell? Not me. Hell no. Gianni, how are you, buddy? Good to see you. Thanks for joining me. Happy Father's Day. Happy Father's Day to you. Thank you. But hell no, I don't want to go to jail. I walk a straight line, Let me tell you something. There's a lot of temptation out there. I was in the store yesterday, and I saw some people stealing, right? Some kids stealing, shoplifting. But I'm not going to go up to the manager and say, hey, you know what? Those kids are stealing. I'm just not going to do that. First of all, number one, I don't care what age you are, I'd be a rat. And I'm not doing that. You got enough cameras here in this store. It was a Walgreens. You got enough cameras here, and you got the monitors in the office. I don't need to go up to you and tell you, the manager, that kids are stealing. You shouldn't be on the ball. But that's what's happening now. People are just walking into the stores, and they're just like stealing like it's nothing. Like it's nothing. Now, I got to tell you something. When I was a kid, and kids do some stupid, crazy things without thinking. We used to go downtown Newark, where they had all the department stores. Because downtown Newark, New Jersey, was the place to go shopping if you lived in Newark. They had all your major department stores down there. And we as kids, and now that I look back at this, I would never, first of all, I would never do this today. And you couldn't do it today because there's too many cameras. Back then, there was no cameras. There was no, those things that you walk through, the one that on each side that go off. There was none of those. So there wasn't any security. So now I'm going to tell you a little secret. This is many years ago. Me and a couple of friends of mine walked into a department store back in the 60s. I don't know, I must have been 12 years old. And we took a pair of pants, we all took a pair of pants, and we went into the dressing room, and we took our regular pants off that we walked in the store with, and we put the pair of pants on that we took from the rack or wherever it was, and then we put our pants over them that we walked in with, and then we walked out. And it was easy to do that back then. And of course, as a kid, you don't think of any repercussions. You know that it's wrong, but yet you don't think about that. Now today's a different story. We're not going to walk into a store and do that because first of all, you can't. Like I said, there's cameras all over the place. But it was easy to do that back then. And I only did that once, and that was it. But the point that I'm trying to make is that these kids today, they think nothing of going into, and it's not just kids. They think nothing of going into a store and shoplifting. Even the adults. Look at all around the United States with all these people that are rushing into stores and robbing, and the employees don't want to get involved. They want to stay out of it. And by the time the cops come, it's too late. They're gone. It's just absolutely terrible. Gianni is saying that these days people know under 1K, it's just a misdemeanor. Yeah, it is. You know what, Gianni? I was talking about this with my friends yesterday. As a matter of fact, they're saying that if it's, wait, what did they say? I think that they were saying that if it's 500, you don't go to jail. I think that's what they were saying. I could be wrong. Don't quote me on that. That they don't want to be bothered with that. And misdemeanor and probably no bail. So the going with fresh trash bags, fill them, and they fill them. They walk right out. They walk out. How brazen is that? How brazen is that? Me personally, first of all, I wouldn't do that, but I would be afraid to do that. I'd be afraid to do that. Because why? Because I'm an adult, supposedly a mature adult, and you think of the consequences of your actions when you don't do that when you're a kid because you're not mature yet, right? And of course, as kids, we took candy bars from the store, little stuff. We weren't bad kids. We were mischievous kids. Today, some of these kids, and again, I say some. I don't say all. Because some of them, it depends on the parents and how the parents raise the children. The big part of it starts with the parents. If you got parents that don't care, then the kids are going to go off on a not so good path. But if you have parents that are somewhat strict and put down rules and laws and stick to them, then hopefully, your children will grow up the right way. You teach them good morals, you teach them respect. So it depends. So Gianni is saying Gianni is saying in the chat that he's caught some elderly people stealing from his store, and I kind of feel bad for them because a lot of the older people, of course, are on Social Security and they're on a very, very strict budget, and not that it makes it right for what they're doing, but I would probably do the same thing that Gianni does. And I'd ask him, what can I give you to help him out? Like I said, it doesn't cost anything to be nice, right? Because the elderly, a lot of them, especially today, if they don't have a pension and they're living off just Social Security, they can't make it. they can't make it. They're getting peanuts. So what do they resort to? The elderly resort to stealing. I guess maybe they figure either they have no choice or nothing's going to happen to them because they're elderly. I don't know, but I would do the same thing that Gianni does. Help them out. Gianni, you're saying you let the neighborhood people run a tab. Let me tell you something. That brings me back again to back in the day, because back in my time, in the part of Newark, New Jersey that I grew up in, which was the predominantly Italian section, we had the butcher, your Italian butcher, your Italian grocery store, your barber shop, your drugstore, and back then, it was nothing to go to a butcher shop and order something from the list that your mom gave you to get, and tell the owner, my mom says, put it on her tab or put it on credit and she'll pay you next week. And then they would write it down. You can't do that today. But that's the way it was back then. And the store owners, they kept the tab on everybody. I would go to the grocery store and my mother would give me a list, and I would get the things that she wanted. And then I'd say to them, my mom says she'll pay you next week. Because back then, if I remember correctly, they didn't have credit cards. My mother and father never had credit cards. I'm going back to the very early 60s now, 64, 63. And it was nothing. The store owners would just write down, your mother's name, whatever, and write down the amount. And then you walk in next week and then you pay them. But that's the way it was back then. But you can't do that today. You can't walk into a store. At least none of the stores around where I live, everything is, what was that? What's that expression? Oh, in God we trust, all others pay cash. Hold on a second, guys. Just let me see something. Back then, in my time, now, I'm a little older maybe than some of you guys, and maybe some of you guys are a little older than me. But back then, where I grew up in Newark, New Jersey, it was a very tight-knit neighborhood, everybody knew one another. The store owners all knew us, we all knew our neighbors. All the guys in the social club knew all of us because there was a social club on every corner. So those guys, the wise guys, the bookmakers, the loan sharks, they all knew us. So it was a different kind of an era. The wise guys watched out for the neighborhood, and we knew who they were, and they knew who we were. And they were very nice to us. So like I said, it was a very tight-knit neighborhood. And it's funny because I remember, in my neighborhood, during the springtime, and this is a very fond memory, you don't see this today. But on a Sunday morning in my neighborhood, like I said, because it was all Italian, everybody made their sauce, we call it gravy in Newark, at the same time. And in the springtime, when it was a nice day outside on a Sunday, everybody would have their window open. So as you walk down my street, if you started from the top of the street and walked all the way down the street, every time you passed a house, you'd smell the different aromas of everybody's sauce, gravy, cooking, and the meatballs frying, because everybody had their windows open and everybody did it at the same time. And it's such a wonderful memory that you don't have that today. You don't have that today. Maybe in some neighborhoods, but I don't know of any. I don't know of any. So that's the old days. That was, like I said, when life was simple. When life was very, very simple. I'm just Is that the way, Gianni? Is that the way it is today? You're saying in your neighborhood, what I just described? Because if that's the case, that's really, really nice. That's really, really nice. You know, I could just smell the frying of Bergeau right now. And the frying, there's nothing like fried meatballs, frying in a frying pan. Oh, not baked, fried. I don't bake my meatballs. I never did and I never will. I fry my meatballs. And that aroma is so good. And you know, of course, when you make your sauce, your gravy, you put the meatballs in real nice and you save a couple on the side without putting them in the gravy and you eat them like that. You know, with some Italian grated cheese real nice. I made macaroni aioli today. I haven't made that like in 10 years. For any of you that know what macaroni aioli is, for you non-Italians, it's I make it with capellini. It's first what you do is you chop up onions and you put the onion in oil and you fry the onions just slightly browned. And of course, then you cook your capellini, right, for about 5 minutes, and then you strain the capellini. And after the garlic is fried in oil, you take the oil and the garlic and you put it in a like a cup or something, and then you put the capellini in the pot, and then you take the oil and the garlic and you pour it on top of the capellini and you mix it real good. And my God, it's so good. That's macaroni aioli. That's an old school dish, by the way. Stephen, how are you, buddy? Good to see you. Happy Father's Day to you. If you're a dad, I don't know. I don't know whose dad's in here and who's not dad. I know Gianni's a dad. So I'm not sure. But it was a beautiful day today. It was actually here in northern New Jersey. It was gorgeous. It was gorgeous. But like I said earlier, we got a heat wave coming next week. It's going to be high 90s here and sunny every day for the next 4 days, Monday through Thursday. So we're getting a taste of a heat wave and a taste of summer early, because summer begins officially, I think it's the 20th, right? The 20th? But, so, you know, like I said, so times were, you know what, hold on a second. I have to just check something real quick. Somebody is texting me here. I just have to see who this is. I gotta come off camera just for a minute. But you know, as the years go by and the decades go by, things change. But I do not, and I just mentioned this earlier, I do not like 2024. I do not like it as to what's going on. And hello, Andy. Good to see you. Good to see you, Andy. Thanks for stopping in. I do not like 2024. A lot of people are finding it rough to survive. And it's just a very, very difficult time for a lot of people. Rents are sky high. Food is sky high. I've spoken about this before. I'm not saying nothing to you that you don't already know. You guys will know this. But sometimes it does get frustrating and sometimes it does get depressing. You know, when I walk into the supermarket, I say, God bless you, Andy, your great-grandfather too. God bless you. God bless you. It's very discouraging when you know you're getting raked over the coals and getting screwed when you paid $1.05 for a bottle of Snapple 6 months ago, and now you're paying $1.95. You know, it's very, very discouraging. Or a meatloaf, not meatloaf. Sorry, or chopped meat, veal pork and beef, to make meatloaf or to make meatballs, right? Which was like, I don't know, $5. Now it's like $13. It's just very discouraging. It pisses you off. It really does. And of course, we're not getting a raise. No, people that are working, their paycheck is basically the same. You know, you're paying more and you're getting less. You're getting less product. You're getting less product. But it's not just food. It's not just rent. It's everything that has gone up. The only thing that hasn't gone up right now in my neighborhood is gas. It's at $3.27. But I expect it to go. We expect it to go up because that's one thing that they don't control. That's a nice comment, Gianni, about your neighborhood. Yeah. Well, people in my neighborhood back in the day, I mean, first of all, number one is everybody had the door open all day long. Nobody ever had to worry about not having the door open or somebody coming in and robbing them. It just wasn't like that. So everybody was welcome in everybody's house. Hey, come on in, have a cup of coffee. Just like Sebastian Maniscalco does in his skit. That's really happened. Come on in, have some coffee, have some sanka, have some cake. You know, that really happened. Where do you think he's getting that from? He talks about real life situations. So that's the way it was. You know, our parents, would go over our neighbor's house, anytime for coffee. That's just the way it was. Everybody had their door open, especially in the spring, especially in the summer, because a lot of people on my street didn't have air conditioning. If you had air conditioning back then, you're kind of wealthy. So it was like I said, it was a very tight-knit neighborhood. But our doors were always open. Today, forget about it. Churches were open 24 hours a day back in the day. I'm talking about the 60s now. Churches were open 24 hours a day. You could walk into church at 3 o'clock in the morning. In the wintertime, if you wanted to get warm, if you were outside, you can go into church, say a couple of prayers, and get warm. Nobody thought about stealing the poor box or stealing the chalice. That wasn't even a thought to anybody back then. But today, no, the churches are locked. Why? Because of what I just mentioned. They steal the money out of the poor box. They steal the money out of the candles that they light. They go in the back of the sacristy. It's terrible. There's nothing is sacred. Nothing is sacred. That's right, Emmanuel. Inflation is out of control. Inflation is definitely out of control. Well, we're going to see. We're going to see what happens. We got how many months? What is it? This is what, June? 5 months? We'll have to see what happens. Got to hope for the best. That's all. Got to hope for the best. So that's what I wanted to talk about a little bit. Nothing really big. Just about some things that back in the day that some of us could relate to, some of us can't relate to because of our age. But it was a very simple time back then. Very simple time. It was a great time back then. Hit the like button. The like button, it does do something. I'm not even going to go into that now. But the like button does do something. I posted a short today. You try to figure out people. I posted a short today just wishing everybody a happy Father's Day, and I got over 3,400 views. And I gained 8 subscribers just by wishing everybody a happy Father's Day. Isn't that crazy? People are crazy. Emmanuel, it's true. It's true. The junkies, steal from the poor box. They steal from the candle box. They steal the chalices, any gold. And that's why they lock it up. But like I said years ago, walking into church at 3 o'clock at night, the church would be deserted, but it would be such a peaceful, calm atmosphere. You could hear a pin drop because not many people, went into church at 3 o'clock in the morning. But it was very, very peaceful and calm. Yeah, 2000 suck. I agree with you, Gianni. I agree 100%. Even clothes went up. Well, everything went up. Everything went up. Well, you know something? I say this all the time that you got to keep a positive mind frame. You got to keep a positive mind frame, which is very difficult at times when things are when things are not going so well with you, whether it be financially, whether it be your health, whatever. Smile and laughter is the most important thing. Laughter is the best medicine and relieve stress. I say this all the time. I kid around all the time, all day long. I'm only serious when I have to be, and it's helped me get through many times. And sometimes they're very, very difficult. You know? Yeah, it's true, Johnny. Yeah, Johnny's saying when gas goes up, everything goes up. That's true. Now that we got the summer coming on us, I'm sure gas is going to go up. People are heading down toward the Jersey Shore. Hey, listen, another thing too is going down to the Jersey Shore and spending a week's vacation down in Wildwood, New Jersey, or Cape May, or Seaside Heights. The rooms down there to rent a hotel are absolutely off the wall. Off the wall. You'd be better off going to the Bahamas. It's cheaper. Everything is just like sky high. Who else is here? Hold on a second. So anybody who's in the background, come on in, come in, come forward. Come forward. I know I got some stragglers in the background there. But I did keep my promise. I did do a Sunday night show. Like I said, I'm going to be consistent on doing the Sunday night shows. Which is nice, like I said in last week's show. I kind of missed it when I didn't do the shows. You miss your listeners and doing the show. Johnny's saying he remembers when it cost $15 to fill up his tank. Well, I remember when I used to fill up my mother's 1974 Duster, and it cost me $3.50 in 1974. I heard Emmanuel saying, I heard that you got hipsters paying $3,500 and up for a place on Mulberry Street. Well, that's crazy. That's crazy. Do you know, in my town, Nutley, a one-bedroom apartment is going for about $1,800. Two bedrooms going for like $2,800. Now that's like a mortgage payment. That the rents in my town are so high. That's it's ridiculous. It's even ridiculous for these young kids to buy a house. How do they do it? And if you got a family and you're young and you want to buy a house, how do you do it? The wife's got to work. You got to work. You got to be knocking down at least between the two of you, at least $200,000. If you got a family of four, that's husband and wife and two kids. The wife's got to work unless the husband's making, $200,000 himself. No more of the mom staying home, taking care of the kids and doing the house. Those days are over. Women are independent today. They're working. They're out there making a living. A lot of them are independent, and a lot of them do not. I saw something on Facebook last week. It was somebody had made a comment saying, can a woman survive without a man? Yeah, a woman could survive without a man. What kind of question is that? If the woman is working and she's making a good salary, of course she could survive. Some of these people on Facebook, the things that they post are unbelievable. Unbelievable. Yeah, so I'll be coming on every Sunday, hopefully. I'm feeling a lot better now. As you can see, I'm upbeat. Maybe last week I was a little upbeat, but not as much as tonight. So I'm getting better. I'm being closely watched. Or I'm being watched closely. So I'm feeling better. I'm not 100%, but I'd say I'm like 87%. 87%. So yeah, I'm going to do a show every Sunday. Maybe, like I said last week's show, maybe I'll do a show like maybe once in a while during the week. It depends. It depends on a lot of things. But I want to thank you guys for stopping in tonight. I really appreciate it. And like I said, I said this in last week's show. I've been doing this for a long time, and when you do something that you enjoy and you do something that's fun, and then all of a sudden it's like taken away from you through no fault of your own, you miss it. I missed not doing the show, and I missed my listeners and talking and everything. Because to me, it's fun, and I always say, when it's not fun, it's time to be done. Right? This has got to be fun, because I'm certainly not in it for the money. I have $37 in my YouTube account from donations, people buying me coffee and stuff. YouTube, and I mentioned this before, YouTube will not release that $37 until it gets to be $100. Like, what are you going to do with my $37? You're a multi-million-dollar company. You're worried about releasing my $37? What's wrong with you? Hi, Gina. How are you, hon? Good to see you. Like, you're worried about my 37 stinking lousy dollars when you're a multi-million-dollar company that I've had it in there for like 7 months. I was just looking at it today. It's a disgrace. Give me the freaking $37. I'll go buy a pound of coffee or a couple of pounds of coffee. YouTube is ridiculous. I don't want to get into it because now I'm going to start getting pissed off. But they got to change some of their rules. They really do. They're just too much. They're just too much. I'm getting notices from YouTube, shows not being monetized that I did 9 months ago and a year ago. That they must be finally catching up. 9 months, a year ago, that some of my shows, I got an email that can't be monetized. This is just too much. They need to lighten up. Yeah, Gianni. $37 I had in the YouTube account for like 8 months. And they won't release it because I have to reach $100. That's their policy. Like I said, a multi-million-dollar company. That's $37 is the needle in a haystack for them. Absolutely ridiculous. It really pisses you off. If there was another platform that was better than YouTube, which there really isn't, I'd be on it. I'm sure a lot of content creators, show hosts would be on it. That's for sure. But YouTube has millions and millions of people on it. Yeah. YouTube's making a killing on me. What are you going to do? I mean, I'm not in it for the money. That's certainly for sure. I don't ask for donations. I don't really care. I do it because it's fun. If I had to live from doing YouTube, I'd be in the poorhouse. But some people have that in mind. Some people have a goal that do that, that have a big business on YouTube. Not everybody, but some people do. So it depends. The how-to videos do very well. Actually, that's how I learned how to cook. Believe it or not, on YouTube. I learned how to cook mostly from watching how-to videos on YouTube, or how to do different things with my car. So, I mean, YouTube is a plethora of information. Some of it is good, some of it is not so good. It depends on what you like and what you watch. Now, I don't watch any of those. I'll tell you that. I don't watch any of those mob shows at all. The only show that I watch once in a while is Angels, because I like Angel, and that's it. And the rest of the shows that I watch are how-to videos. How to cook, how to fix a car, how to do this. Whenever I need to know something on how-to, I'll go to YouTube, and I'll be able to find it. But all those other shows where content creators are cursing and every word's coming out of their mouth is F and MFer and all that. That's just, they're just showing that they're low class. You know, they're really showing that they're low class. Now, don't get me wrong. I do curse once in a while. I'm no angel, but as you can see if you watch my shows, not every word that comes out of my mouth is F or MF or JO or you know what I'm saying. But it's just low class. That's all. But people, some people watch that. To each his own. To each his own. But I'm not in. Gina likes my backdrop. I am in Hawaii right now. Okay, I am in Hawaii, and I'm sitting. Isn't it beautiful? It's so warm here. It's beautiful. You just see the sun is shining. There's blue skies. There's white puffy clouds. I got a cup of coffee here, real nice, which I haven't drank yet, which just got cold. And this is one of my nicer backdrops. I use OBS. So OBS allows you can't do this on StreamYard. OBS allows you to play a video background for as long as you want. You could play for hours. Whereas on StreamYard, you can't do that. But I have a green screen, and I have studio lighting. So when I use OBS and I do the studio lighting, there's no halo around my head, as you can see. My arms don't disappear. So OBS is great for that. But StreamYard can't do that. But there's some advantages to using StreamYard. I mean, StreamYard is a good platform for beginners. I don't knock it. I mean, but OBS to me is better. I'm used to that. But I'm not really in Hawaii. I'm only kidding. I'm not really in Hawaii. But I tell you, I wish I was here right now. But thank you, Gina. Thank you for that compliment. I appreciate it. Yeah, thank you. Yeah. It was tough. The last 2 months were rough for me. They were rough. I don't want to start getting into myself, but they were rough. They were rough. I tell you, I had to stay positive a lot. And, I mentioned this before, that one day your life could be fine, and the next day your life could change in a matter of seconds. And everything could be upside down. And that's what happened to me. That's what happened to me. And you have to try to, when something like that happens to you, you have to try to change the things that you can change, and try to have some normalcy back in your life from what you were doing before. And the things you can change, just move on. And stay as positive as you possibly can, which I always say is easier said than done. When everything is going wrong, it's very hard to stay positive. Oh, why me? Oh, I can't believe this is happening to me. It's one thing after another. When it rains, it pours. What am I going to do? You get that way sometimes. But the most important thing is stay positive, smile, and laughter. Very important. And in life, this can happen to anyone. It can happen to any one of us. Like I said, your life could change in a matter of seconds. And you have to try to handle it the best way you possibly can. Try and be strong. And like I said all the time, it's easier said than done. When you're going through this, it's hard. It's hard to stay positive. It really is. You get discouraged. Well, it's part of life. Oh, Gianni, you're in Maine? I love Maine. Maine is beautiful, especially in the fall. What a nice view. Okay, Gina's asking me, this might sound like a dopey question. There's no question that's dopey, Gina, hon. This might sound like a dopey question, but if you're not doing a live, can you just look at that video yourself? I could use that for stress reduction. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. You can go on YouTube, and you can key in beautiful video backdrops, and you can play it on your TV, because that's what this is. This is what they call a video backdrop that you could watch on your TV. But for doing a live show, it's totally different. You got to have a green screen. You got to have lights, studio lights, so you don't get that halo over your head. And your hands and arms don't disappear. And but you can go to YouTube and just key in beautiful video backgrounds, and then they'll all come up. And you just pick the one that you like. Some of them play for 5-6 hours. Some of them play for 3 hours. They have, like for this particular one right here, you would hear the ocean in the background. But I don't put the ocean on because I'm talking. So it would just be the wind blowing and the ocean in the background, real nice and peaceful. So yes, Gina, in answer to your question, and no question is dopey. There's no dopey question on my show. Just dopey people sometimes that come in here and try to, well, actually, no one's ever come in here and caused havoc. Funny, Gina. Dopey question. Where's Wells? Oh, Wells, Maine? Is that where you are, Gianni? Wells, Maine? I tell you, it's beautiful up there in the fall. Oh, the foliage is it's so pretty. So pretty. Yeah, the water is cold in August. Yeah, very cold. The water down the Jersey Shore is very cold right now. It'll take a while to warm up. Probably by the first week in July, maybe the second week, it'll start to really get warm. Yeah, well, enjoy yourself, Gianni. Did you do anything special today for Father's Day? Did you guys do anything special for Father's Day? I mean, it's okay. It's really, Mother's Day is really for moms. That's the day that you celebrate. Father's, not too much. The kids are closer to the mother usually than they are to the father. Especially if you have boys. I have 2 boys. They're closer to their mother than they are to me. I mean, that doesn't say that they're not close to me, but they're closer to their mother. Boys generally are. Everybody's different, but did you guys do anything special today? To me, it's like, I don't know. I mean, you're proud to be a father. You're proud to see your kids grow up, grow up the right way. But I think Mother and Father's Day, I think it's really, Mother's Day is a day that you buy flowers for her, you buy her candy or a special gift. Yeah, New Hampshire is another nice place too. Another nice place. Okay, guys, how long have I been running here? I got to see. Let's see how long. I don't want to run too long. Let me see. A little over an hour. Okay, I gotta end this. Let me just see. Who the heck is this texting me? Oh gosh. All right, guys, I want to thank you so much for joining me. It feels good to be back on a Sunday night. The show will be at 8:30. I'm going to be consistent. I'm going to put the thumbnails up ahead of time so you can get notification. Yeah, you're right. You're right, Gina. You're right. I got grandkids. So... and having grandkids are different than your own kids. Different kind of love. Different kind of love altogether. I can't describe it. It's you can have the worst day in the world, and if they're when they're smaller, I mean they could put a smile on your face immediately. And they get big so quick, they really do it well. Your kids got big my kids did. But having grandchildren is a beautiful thing. It really is. And you can give them back. When you watch them, you can give them back to their parents, you know. And you can spoil them rotten. You know, my son always says to me, you know, Dad, you're spoiling my kids. Well, what did I do to you? Didn't I spoil you? Right? So now you're getting a taste of it. You're getting a taste of it, you know. And remember, you know, that when you have children and you have grandchildren, buying them things is nice. But that's not the most important thing. The most important thing is teaching them respect, having good morals. That's the most important thing. Showing them love, telling them that you love them. My son's 38 years old. My other son is 28. They tell me all the time, that my son just today, Dad, I love you. I love you. I love you. Every time I see him, kiss, I love you. Both of them. You know, saying I love you from them is nothing where I'm on the phone with them. I love you. You know, it's a good feeling. It's a good feeling. And not all kids are like that. But that comes from the parents. You know, I've always told my children all the time that I love them. Now, my father, back then in the 60s, a different era. Back then, the father was like masculine, and to say I love you was like kind of like masculine. Not that he didn't love me, but you didn't hear it as much every day like I do with my kids. You understand what I'm saying? And crying, a man crying back then, well, it was considered to be a sissy. But grown men cry. Grown men have feelings. Different time. And anyway, okay. Great seeing you. I'm glad you all guys had a wonderful day today. I don't know where you all are. I know Gianni, you'll probably be getting nice weather. Gina, you'll be getting nice weather. So we got a heat wave coming. And everybody else, I don't know where you are. I forgot. I hope you have nice weather next week. Enjoy the rest of the evening. And I'm going to play a song for you by a cover band. What's the name of the song? Nothing's going to stop us now. All right, guys. I'll see you next Sunday. Stay well. God bless. Love you all. Good night now.
Times, whatever it takes is what